slavery's not gone anywhere, right? So the old school idea of slavery, the government would get slaves, make them work for free and build things. That's slavery. What do they do now? They get people, make them build things for money. But the government bring all the money. You are still a slave. You used to be a slave and you'd work all day and at the end you got food in the house. Now, you work all day, you get money, and you spend all your money on food and a house. Like, slavery is still here, my friend. Nothing's changed.
All right, so this guy, Andrew Tate, right? And that was a smart assessment. You know what I'm saying? You actually got to use your mind to figure things out, right? So let's get all into this lesson. So this is so vast, the confusion and just the madness that's been placed on our people. Our people really think this is the way they're supposed to live. They don't see no problem with it because they're not crying out. Their lack of crying out shows that they're okay and they are comfortable in their own captivity. And a lot of these jakes don't think they still in captivity, right? Because they're not in chains, right? That's going to show you how low level and monkey minded this our people is. All right, so let's get all into this lesson. So you still a slave. They got something they call that's called wage slavery. It's just a sophisticated way to enslave you, but you don't know you're enslaved because you don't see any chains on your body, right? So our people been conditioned to pay bills. They've been conditioned, right, to work a 9 to 5. They've been conditioned to work Monday through Friday. They've been conditioned to just accept this, right? They think it is just the way it is, right? They don't understand anything about sovereignty. And the whole, I did a lesson a few days ago, a day or so ago, all right, about this Jake woman made these stupid comments. Right now, work has always been around, but another point I wanted to make is when you work, you benefited off that, right? Because you was working your own land, you was working for your own, your family. It was land and assets, all right, and commodities involved, right? Not this fiat-based currency where you exchange your time for fake money, monopoly money, whether it be debit, whether it be credit, or whether it be like just straight a check, whatever, however you want to put it. So our people been conditioned under this system, right? And they don't know better. They sick in the head. Let's go to this definition: conditioning. So you've been conditioned to believe things that's not true. You've been conditioned to think this is the way you're supposed to live. You've been conditioned, right, to think this so-called money is real. You don't know better. It says this conditioning at the very top. It says the process of training or accustoming a person, right, to behave a certain way or to accept certain circumstances, right? Again, you've been set in this circumstance. Most of our people are in abject poverty. They're barely making it. They're paying bills, right? When you go on, matter of fact, let me show you something. 1 second. Right, so I'm gonna go to this definition bill, right? Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. Give me some more. Right, so when you really go into the word bill, it means a sealed document, right? A sealed document. So let's go back up, right? And that's how a lot of people lament over paying fucking bills, right? Number one, an amount of money owed for goods, supplied or services rendered, right? So they go to show you that if you have to pay a bill, you're subjected to someone, right? That means you're in captivity, right? Let's go to this definition: sovereignty. You're gonna learn today, right? I hope this Jake woman watching this video, right, you ask and learn something. It says sovereignty, right? Pay attention to what I'm saying, right? This might be too much for you. It says sovereignty. That's what you don't know because you're still in captivity, right? Even though your body can freely move and go do some folly, just because you can go to Walmart, right, and do some called retail therapy, don't mean your ass not still in captivity. You're delusional. It says the authority of a state to govern itself. You hear this? And that's something our people don't know anything about. All right, when you look at your so-called money, you got all so-called white people on your money. You got George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Salakia. right? You got all these devils on your money what you call monopoly money. Let me kind of hip you up on something. You play the game of Monopoly, you see that money in there? That's the same as the money that you so-called money, right? That you call dollars, right? Sovereignty. Again, this is something that our people can't even fathom, right? Because they've been in captivity, in a deep mental captivity, right? They can't get it. Right here. It says sovereignty, supreme and independent power or authority, right? So having your independence, right? And when we had our nation, we were sovereign for a time, right? That means we control what we do, what we don't do, and we was governed using the statute, laws, and commandments, right? So we control the policies, we control the movement of goods, all right? You name it, right? And it's something that's foreign to our people because they've been conditioned, right, to think this is normal. Let's go here. And that's why, the Most High emphasized the promised land. When you really understand what words mean, you start to dissect words. Promised land. All right, what does land give you? Freedom. So when you have your own land, it brings sovereignty, right? Freedom. You grow your own food. Everything that you use today came out of the earth. The house that you stay in, that whether you rent, right, apartment or whatever, it's all this wood. The wood came from the trees from the earth, right? So you've been sold things that's free, right? And you exchange your time, right? Your precious time, right? As a slave to get the things that you need to survive, right? So the car that you drive, that metal came out of the earth. The home that you stay in, whether you rent, buying a home or whatever, that wood and those materials came out of the earth and from trees, right? Going down that list. So the grocery store that you go to, right? This all these foods going to earth for free, right? Why you think people don't grow their food anymore, right? This is all you've been conditioned to be this way. They condition you to depend on a system. So when we talk about going, you know, to do your own thing independently, Jake don't like that, right? It says land right here. It says country, nation. So in order to see these Edomites understand this, right? That's why in their wickedness, they pursuit, right? To conquer, they took land. Because with land, you can control people, right? And that's something that you don't really understand. You don't know, you don't really get rulership, right? That's something that escapes our people understanding rulership and sovereignty and dominion. Let's go here. Proverbs 12:11. He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread. So they got you people under deep enchantment and witchcraft that you don't even understand that land is where everything starts at. Even when Jake say, they go buy some land, they still have to pay taxes and so on and so forth, right? But there'll be a better alternative than what you're doing. It says, he that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding. And this is what our people follow, right? The so-called white man's system, his structure. That's what they believe in. That's what they rest in, right? That's what they love. This all they know, right? And you're supposed to really live off the land, right? But again, that's foreign to our people because a lot of them lazy. They're not gonna grow their own food. They brainwashed and brain dead. They don't understand nothing. They just understand their lifetime, their little fucking job, their little life. That's all that matters to them, right? And that's called ignorance, right? And they live in this ignorance, and they it says living off the land. So when you worked, right, when we had our nation, you would get the benefit off that because a lot of times, right, you be, especially a woman, her father, right, would give, send off to a man, right, to get married, you know what I'm saying? Right, that man would have resources, right? And that woman can live off her father's resources until she was able to find her husband, All right, so we had a system in place. We even had a welfare system. I mean, you go down the list, right? So the objective of working was so you could benefit off land, because when you have land, that's how you become independent. That's how you become self-sufficient. You don't depend on a system. A lot of people don't really understand, right? Say your lights go out, right? Say they cut all the lights off, right? You just have what you have to survive on. A lot of people don't even know what a fucking garden is, right? They don't know what that entails. But our women trying to correct us, they trying to break down scriptures. They can't even do the basics of what a woman, right, was blessed to know how to do, right? Let's go here. And let me go. Matter of fact, I want to go into this article right here, right? So give me 1 second. All right. And that's why the Mosai was so adamant about giving us land, because he understood this right here at the top. It says the land was, of course, bountiful by the standards of the ancient Near East. It says, but the blessings of the land went beyond the favorable climate, abundant water, and other natural benefits, because benefits provided by the land of the Creator, Yahweh. It says Israel would also inherit a well-developed infrastructure from the Canaanites. It says, I gave you a land on which you have not labored, in towns that you have not built, and you live in them. You eat fruit of the vineyards and of olive yards that you did not plant. Right? It says even the signature description of the land flowing with milk and honey, Salakia, assumed some degree of livestock management and beekeeping. So they were self-sufficient, right? But yeah, that's when you work, you actually saw a benefit off that. You didn't work in a system where you pay rent the rest of your fucking life and you die broke, right? And this so-called money, it's worthless, right? Once they crash the dollar out, you know, I want to hear you people talk your shit then, right? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I ain't want to get too deep, but like I said, this is what Jake laments over, paying bills, right? I want to go to this too before I close it. Right here, this garden right here. And this is what you sisters really need to be getting into, right? And stop focusing on trying to correct men and get into men affairs. You need to just be listening and learning. It says, why don't more people grow their own food? There you go. So this government has conditioned you to go to a goddamn grocery store, right? Go to Kroger's and HEB. That's what they got in down where I'm at, right? But whatever else grocery store where you at, how is that normal, right? Why do people not know how to grow their own food? Especially our people, why is that not self-sufficient, right? Because they've been conditioned to be this way, to be dependent on the system of Babylon, right? So that's when you want to talk about work. Yeah, you worked, and you worked, you know what I'm saying, and you actually saw a benefit off that. Not what you have today, right? You pay on a home 30 years, right? You got something called a 30-year mortgage. Man, that's madness, right? Because most people are not going to be able to live long enough to pay their house off, right? And you still got to pay property taxes. You still got taxes on top of taxes, fees. It goes on and on. We subject to payments, right? So we praying for the kingdom of heaven when we be free from all this, all right? Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakat, Kodash, Shalom.